This past month, a man named Gerald Glenn, who was the pastor of New Deliverance Evangelistic Church in Chesterfield, Virginia, died the night before Easter after contracting the coronavirus. Now, as a victim of COVID-19, Bishop Glenn, as he was known, is just one among many tragedies these past couple months, and he and his family deserve our sympathy. But what makes this story more tragic than it needed to be is that Bishop Glenn died while defying the governor's order to gather in groups larger than 10 when he gathered his church the Sunday after those orders were given. As he told the few dozen who gathered that Sunday, he firmly believed that God is larger than the coronavirus. Now, I also believe that God is larger than the coronavirus, but I have found it intriguing through this whole coronavirus time to see just how the Word of Faith theology is being put on trial, so to speak. The Word of Faith movement has its origins in a metaphysical cult known as New Thought, and it was brought into the church in the late 19th and early 20th century by men like Essex Kenyon and Kenneth Hagin, and it's popularized today by teachers such as Joel Osteen and Kenneth Copeland. One of the central tenets of this theology is that Jesus' death on the cross not only gives us spiritual healing from our sins, but also physical healing from sickness and disease as well. As Kenneth Hagin writes, when the Bible talks about suffering, that doesn't mean sickness. We have no business suffering sickness and disease because Jesus redeemed us from that. As the Word of Faith teachers put it, healing from sickness is our divine possession. You'll often hear them quoting the King James Version of Isaiah 53:4, that by his stripes we are healed. Consequently, these teachers claim that if we are sick, we just need to claim that healing and declare that we are believing on God for our healing. And if there is a virus around that threatens our health, then instead of being afraid, we just need to stand in faith in the healing we already have by virtue of Jesus' death on the cross, and God will protect us. That means that when something like the coronavirus hits your community, having the correct theology can become a matter of life or death. Think about it. If you believe that physical healing and protection from sickness and disease are yours as a result of your salvation, as long as you have enough faith to believe and receive it, then what do you do when the government tells you to stop meeting together so that you won't get sick? If you comply with the government and you stop meeting, then you aren't exercising faith in God. And if you aren't walking by faith, then God's protection is removed from you, and your body becomes open to getting sick. But if you continue to meet and you confidently declare that God will protect you from all harm, then according to the Word of Faith theology, you are exercising the kind of faith that will keep you from contracting the coronavirus. This means that for a pastor who believes that healing is guaranteed to all who have enough faith, if they're going to be consistent with what they believe and preach, they have to keep on meeting together. They have to keep on encouraging their followers to exercise their faith, even if, as Bishop Gerald Glenn found out, it eventually kills them. Consider it death by bad theology. Listen to me. The Bible does not teach that all of our diseases will be healed this side of heaven, if only we have enough faith to believe. It does not teach us to declare our sickness away, to receive our healing. When sick people are mentioned in the New Testament, like Timothy and Trophimus and even Paul, you'll never see them being taught to declare their sickness away or to receive their promised healing. The truth is that Jesus' death gives us spiritual healing, complete forgiveness for all of our sins, past, present, and future. And that when we are with him in eternity, then and only then will all of our diseases and injuries be completely healed. But as long as we are living in our earthly bodies, we will continue to experience the results of the fall in the form of sickness and disease and injury. Yes, God can supernaturally heal, and yes, we should ask boldly for that. And every time he does heal, it's a sign of the kingdom to come, where there'll be no more suffering, no more death, no more crying, and no more pain. But every time we are not healed, and every time a disease threatens our health, it's a reminder that we are not yet living in the new kingdom. And when the government asks you to stop gathering for a time out of concern for your neighbor, the church should obey their authorities out of love for God and for each other. I truly hope that one of the good things that comes from this coronavirus season and out of Bishop Glenn's tragic death is that the word of faith will be exposed for the false theology that it is, that those who have been deceived by its teachings will actually read the Bible for themselves in context and come to worship the true God in spirit and in truth.